You don't even have Facebook, Nikki.
Well,
you don't have to worry.
I have it.
You do not have to worry about what I post.
I just haven't been on it.
You don't have to worry about what I post on my foodies page.
But I do.
Coastal Foodies, Fall River is my favorite page on Facebook. Sorry, Jordan. But it is. And I just posted the salad.
Is that a shout out to Carrie Lee right now?
Yeah, Carrie Lee, you get a shout out. But sorry, Jordan. Jordan's my buddy, but whatever. His page is just atrocious at this point. But I did get to post my salad and mangoes that I got from 7-Eleven, and somebody on the wall said, "You trust gas station food? Like it gets dipped in gas." Like it gets. I just noticed that. Yeah, like it gets dipped in gas, oil. You know, that's what the salad dressing was made out of. Guys. It was delicious.
I didn't realize it was gas station food.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven doesn't have to have a gas station.
7-Eleven has been around longer than I've been alive. They haven't killed anybody yet with their mangoes or their salads. I think we're okay.
Not that we know.
As far as we can tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got 2 hours to see if anything happens.
Welcome to City Talk Fall River. I'm Trott.
I'm Nikki.
And I'm Derrick.
How is everyone doing out there? You can call in. You want to say the number? You want to say the number?
You got it.
All right. 774-955-0533. We pointed to Nikki. Nikki didn't know.
I get such a kick out of you too when you do it. The conversation that you guys just had. You're asking each other, do you want to do it? So Derrick's like, you go ahead and do it. But then you said the first 3 digits.
Because I couldn't remember. The next 3.
That's hilarious.
I couldn't remember the next 3. I figured I'd take the easy ones.
I don't remember any of them because you guys like get into this groove where you say it all the time, so I don't have to.
So you can call in 774-955-0533. Even I had to look up in the air and give the blink because I almost forgot the number myself. That's good.
Be like, just call Trott. That's what I would say.
So I'm going to, this was on, when did I text you? I texted Nikki Thursday morning or Friday morning.
I do not recall.
Yeah, it was some like Thursday or Friday morning. And actually it was weird because she sent me an article about the purple bags and all that kind of stuff, how they're going to be coming down hard on the purple bags and all that good stuff. And as I'm going to my car, I'm seeing a little DCM. It was like a Nissan Leaf. It's like a little hybrid car with a DCM sign on it. And I guess they're going from car to car, looking at trash. And I think they're also, because it was traffic as well, they were looking to see who had like updated inspection stickers and things like that. So
it's so funny to me, like the Department of Community Maintenance checks on inspection stickers. Like that's just, ironic.
Don't mind me, I'm still eating my salad. The problem,
7-Eleven.
It was delicious. The problem that I'm seeing is like, what is our government really? What is the role of our government? Is it supposed to be about
stealing?
About analyzing you so that they can figure out a way to fine you? When did the role of government come about taking money out of your pocket? When was their primary function looking for ways to take money out of your pocket?
Day one. The day fire was invented.
The day fire was invented.
Who knows? But it's history of time.
We lost our way though, as to what because
history of time.
It's fine. It didn't for me personally, like when I read about when we fought for our independence and we established our initial government, and everyone still to this day brings up what is constitutional and what isn't constitutional as far as laws. And I just think that, like, from what I understand, Obama's administration this week, like, put down about 500 more regulations right before he ran out the door. So, and I just wonder, was our government ever meant to be to the point where you can't even park your car on the street?
No, it wasn't meant to be this intrusive. Absolutely not.
Where you can't even throw something away in a trash bin. Or you can't recycle certain items because your government contract is still locked into some archaic method of costing the disposal costs, right? All these things, like, when did government have such control over our lives and our wallets more?
When they saw how much they could steal from people.
When they saw how profitable it could be.
Yes.
Well,
it's big business.
We've given the government that authority.
Mhm.
We
But we do it every day.
Every single
election,
day.
Yeah, every election, every time we vote, we give them authority to steal from us.
I need, and that was part of the reason when we were not in agreement about the casino question one and things like that, or whenever we talk about, of course, whenever we talk about the sanitation piece and Fall River's government, or if we talk about anything like on a national level, like going through this whole process with marijuana and everything like that, like what's like the federal laws are clashing with local laws and all this and that. When did we just say, all right, you know what? You guys can just do what you want, because that's exactly what they do now.
I don't know if that's what we did. I think that's what we were trained to do.
Like we were trained to think that way?
We were conditioned to think that way. Absolutely. Just in the last 2 years, there were a lot of things just for myself that have changed that I never thought of. So many people have opened my eyes to so many things. Just the jail thing, when I sit there and I talk about, just from Jordan saying drugs shouldn't be illegal. And, at first I was like, he's crazy. Drugs should be illegal. But then you really get to the core of it. And it's like, you know what? Yes, they're killing people and all of that. But in the grand scheme of things, we've had years and years of them fighting a drug war that hasn't fought anything. And I see more people addicted now than I ever have. And they're addicted to legal drugs. And
wasted money has been spent in that war.
In that war. So when it's just different things have opened my eyes. So we're conditioned to believe XYZ is great, but the end game is really just the money that goes into the government's pocket. Ultimately, everything that you can look into leads into every law, every lobbyist, it leads into money being put in someone's pocket.
Derrick, I just want to make sure I'm not cutting you off.
No, you're good.
All right, cool.
And mind you, the money where they're putting it in their pockets gets taken out of the taxpayer's pocket.
I think what you're saying is amazing about the conditioning piece, because we are completely conditioned to not only allow the government to impose themselves on our lives, but we're also conditioned to think that the government has the answers to our problems,
and that they're the ones that are in charge.
Right.
It's like it's so crazy. They trick us into electing them because they're the ones who make those laws. It's just this big circle. I try to explain that to people all the time when they say, "Oh, I don't really vote." And go ahead, Derrick.
No, you were going on. I didn't want to interrupt. But all I was going to say is that
I got that.
Oh, all right, you got it. All I was going to say was that the way that government becomes effective is when it becomes absolutely transparent. You don't even know that it's working. So when you start to see the government hands get into play on every single last thing that every citizen does, then you know that there's a problem. Problem is that you can't fix those problems because everyone else has the solutions. What are the solutions? They have to be in office to implement them. No, you have to be able to look at this and go back and say, government was meant to be transparent. You know it's working properly if you don't see it. So
and even some of the people who are fighting, like a lot of like I said, I've learned a lot in 2 years. So even some of the people who seem to be fighting the good fight are only fighting it so that they can gain something in the end game. Like I'm still waiting for people to say it's the citizens of whether it be Fall River, Massachusetts, the United States of America. They're the ones who we need to listen to, not this group of people, not this group of people. It's going to be everybody.
I agree.
How are they going to handle this? And I think we talked about this a couple of years ago. What if you use a purple bag? I know, but what if you did?
Trott,
right?
Are we talking trash right now?
Oh boy.
I'm just talking about the compliance piece of the trash.
Okay, it's trash.
Right.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
We're talking about the government's role in this, but I'm using this as an example.
Great example.
Right. So let's say you use a purple bag and everybody in your building used the purple bag. Okay. But Joe Schmo from across the street or down the street is like, oh, wow, I can throw my white bag into their barrel.
Which happens.
Right. A lot. Right. Are you responsible for that? Are they going to try and hold you responsible for that?
They can try and hold me responsible for that.
I'll throw another scenario. Derrick.
Sir.
He is not using purple bags, right?
For shame.
But everybody else in his building is, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But everybody else in his building is, right? So he doesn't want to be the only guy in the building not using the bags. So he claims that he used the bags when he gets cited, right? and then says, yeah, I'm using the bags, but somebody must have walked down the street and put it in our barrel. How are they going to prove that wrong?
With the Inspector Gadget trash men.
Inspector Gadget trash men, she says. It's throwing me all off. And the funny thing is we get yelled at, or I get yelled at. You're always talking about the trash bags. Well, it keeps on getting brought up in the newspaper, doesn't it?
Hey, check this out. I haven't even been online.
No.
How many months?
No.
What's the topic of conversation?
Sanitation.
Trash.
Because this is the only real outlet that has been telling you for a very long time that this situation isn't going away just because we talk about saying we want it to go away.
Public safety.
It costs you a lot of money.
Education.
It costs you a lot of money. We've seen multiple situations in City Hall, in the council chambers, where a council will say, I'm tired of talking about trash or something like that. And then when it's time to talk about money in a different department, such as the school department or such as the police department, they bring up,
how much money and revenue have we gotten from them their purple bags?
Purple bags, or at the time it was the $10 per unit fee, and so they also realize in the long run that they have to bring this topic up because it's a very expensive topic, and it's also a topic that has been completely unresolved. It's been neglected for decades. It's been neglected way before I ever even.
It's been treated like trash.
Right. We're talking about a landfill that got neglected. We're talking about problems. We're talking about problems within the. We're talking about problems within the Sanitation Enterprise Fund at the time, before Jazel actually did something that I felt was very good in eliminating it. You know what I mean?
It was great eliminating it.
Right. But so we've actually just let a lot of this stuff sit on the shelf, and it keeps on coming back to bite us in the butt, like big time. It's just a nightmare scenario that getting some guy out there in a Nissan Leaf to look at your trash bags isn't solving.
All right. And not for nothing, right? Like, this guy might be out there all day, but let's be real, folks. If you have to rip open bags and go through the trash, right?
We're in rock bottom.
Are you really gonna, come on, man.
We've already hit rock bottom at that point.
I can't believe that man Flanagan's even trying to pull this game again. Oh, not Flanagan, it's Jazel, but It just reminds me so much of Flanagan that I sometimes get confused.
Can't argue with it.
The same exact thing. Let's find the people not using purple bags, or if we can't figure that out, we're going to threaten taxpayers by saying we'll take away their carts, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what Linda Pereira has been talking about for a while now, too.
What do you mean? She wants to do that? She wants to take them away?
She said,
that rat.
Take them away and let them privatize if they don't want to use the bags.
Really?
That's what she said.
And she's still okay with housing receiving recycling services, though, right?
That's not a question I can answer.
When we pay out of our rear ends for our recycling charges, right, which costs us more than it costs to get rid of our trash, why aren't they looking into that? So essentially what they're saying is, if you have a tenant that you can't force to use purple bags, I'm going to take away your cart. But the housing properties on Doolin Street can get there and keep their recycling no matter what, even if it's contaminated. And you, Mr. Taxpayer, who I just took your cart, still get to pay for that housing recycling to be taken.
Don't worry. Doolin's not the only.
It's not Doolin. It's just one example.
I'm just saying.
There are many properties,
absolutely,
6 tenement plus, who aren't supposed to receive those services. By the way, they still do. Okay, but they still receive those services. So taxpayers, all of you taxpayers, are footing the bill for that recycling to get picked up, even if that property owner gets privatized trash, which means they have a different company come pick up their trash. If their recycling is still being picked up by the city of Fall River, the taxpayers of Fall River are footing that bill. Don't you dare threaten a taxpayer because they can't force a tenant to buy a purple bag, that you're going to take something away from them and not take something away from a housing unit or a 6+ unit that's receiving that for free. Get out of town. Come on, man. I expected more from Jazel than that.
Mickey is inflated.
So whoever wants to be mayor, right? whoever is going to run in this election up against Jazel, because here we got it. And if somebody tells me Jazel will get reelected or it won't be a trash issue, folks, we've been talking about trash for years, okay? And every time an election comes around, the person who wins simply because of trash. Whatever they say about trash. Cliff Ponte, I'm going to get rid of the purple bags, was elected. And he ran on that. We haven't seen anything about that yet. Not one ordinance has changed. We're still in the exact same spot. And now our new mayor that was elected to say he would change anything, the only thing he did was get rid of the Sanitation Enterprise Fund. The problems still exist. Mm-hmm. There's just no fund. It's just an account. All that SEF was an account, which is what I was trying to explain to people when they were all against it. It was just like a bank account. You got rid of that one. If you want to start it all over again, you start it from scratch and you do the way it's supposed to be done. They didn't do that. That's what I expected our new, fresh, young, intelligent, smart mayor and all our bright, young, financial geniuses on the city council were supposed to come in and do this great thing. Dude, you're still swinging the same baloney we were hearing 2 years ago, long before you were even elected.
Baloney.
So tell me what? And Linda's going to sit there and say she's going to take a cart away from a taxpayer when 2 years ago she sat there saying, we can't take it away from the taxpayer and let housing people get their trash and recycling picked up for free. Come on, man.
And about a year and a half before she said that, she's on record in the newspaper saying, I think Edward, oh, all right, hold on. We got a phone call from somebody. Yes. Sorry, I was right in the middle, and I will hold that thought. Hi, Ed.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, here I am because I'm new at Twitter.
Ooh, oh boy.
And what do I see? A live feed of you guys. So I said, I gotta call in and say hi to my friend. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, I miss you.
Hey, Derrick.
What's going on, Ed?
Hello, sir.
How's everything going with you guys?
We were right in the groove. We were talking about the new article in the newspaper about trash. We can't let that one go by us. We're like hockey goalies,
I can't interrupt that now. The guy was going in and out of the trash looking for the trash.
Yeah, unfortunately, actually, I seen his car on my street earlier this week, and I texted some friends about it in the process, and it brought up the topic for me, bigger than just the sanitation issue in Fall River. But we started off talking about at what point did we just simply allow the government to run our lives in a certain way where they're taking money out of our pockets like it's their duty,
Yeah, so with the privatization on the one hand, but on the other hand, we got a guy from the government going and checking my trash.
And then you got so many different other factors in where I'm out there in the street, I'm out there at the parks with a handful of other friends. We're clearing out all these weeds and neglected areas of the park to get this beautiful site down there at the waterfront. And then I come home and I'm like, they're like, oh, you gotta use a purple bag. Like, get away from me. Like go do something with yourself.
Yeah.
Do something to where we are seeing the results of our investment in taxation and all these other things. Instead, they're just coming at you for more money. No, I'm just saying in general. Like I'm reading an article about how we have to now buy purple bags, and
They're going to take, if you're a property owner and you can't force your tenant to buy a purple bag, they're going to take away your trash carts. Come on. So if you've got a 4 tenement and 3 out of the 4 are buying purple bags, you're really going to be suffering by having those carts taken away. So that one resident who's not buying purple bags means more than the 3 who is. Give me a break.
and for the past month,
Then you have to harass that one person.
Yeah.
Doing it.
and then for the past month or two, I've been asking Jazel myself, posting on Facebook, text messaging, whatever. Hey, when are we going to get this information on a new recycling contract, which is insanely expensive? Which is part of the reason why our sanitation situation is expensive as it is. No answer at all, but we've been getting multiple newspaper articles and
All about
commentary
fining.
about finding people not using this, and
Purple
they're going to get their barrels taken away. And I'm like, well, how about some information on how this is going to be less expensive? That's part of his job to do, right?
Yeah.
Right? Where is it?
But nothing's changed.
Right? Where is it? That's all I'm asking. I mean, I want to have a productive conversation about this, but it's kind of hard to when it's one-sided, right? So it's tough.
Well, that's why I privatized, and I never gave up my private.
There you go.
Even though the price kind of like went up $20 without me realizing, it turns out it was in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're putting yourself in a position to get ripped off by the private side just as quickly as we put ourselves in a position to get ripped off by the public side.
Yep.
Right. Well, I was thinking of not privatizing anymore once and getting my bags back. But now here, ever since I know that now I have to go back to the purple bags again, no, I'm not going to do that. The heck with it, I'll just keep what I've got.
There's nothing wrong with the city wanting to do a set contract with a private company to take care of your service.
Right.
But we need to know, number one, where is our money going?
Mm-hmm.
Is it paying for residential?
Yeah.
Is it paying for is it paying for public? Are businesses paying for their own? Are we paying? Are we subsidizing businesses that are getting grandfathered into from the old system?
Who are receiving recycling services? This is yep.
It's never been
They're
defined.
questions that I've been asking, Ed, for literally almost 3 years, and nobody seems to answer those questions. That's, I've been glad I've been off the internet. I haven't been on in so long, but the fact that the same conversation is still taking place is so mind-blowing to me.
Right.
I've shared so much information, so I don't know what else they need.
It's time for you to write another article.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm coming out of the woodwork here. What the heck's going on? Nothing's changed.
Yep. Oh, I got plans, Ed. I've always had plans.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's good to hear your voice, Nikki.
I miss
hope
you.
everything at Henry Lord is going okay.
It is. It's actually going pretty good.
Yeah, we just voted to send like 4 different people there to kind of shore up some of the problems that they had.
Good.
So I visited there a couple of times, and I went to a couple of parent meetings, in which parents were talking about some things we needed. And one thing about this superintendent is that I can kind of meet with him, and we all can, and he listens to us.
Good.
And he actually went down to Henry Wood. I met with a teacher who actually left the system from Henry Lord
Yep.
because of things that she didn't like. So I interviewed her before she left. I did an exit interview at a location that no one will know is a secret,
Yep.
But she laid everything out there for me, and the parents laid it out for me, and I told them about it. So I went and I had a list of things, and I went to the superintendent. I talked to him about it, and evidently I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
So I visited it, and all of a sudden now they hired like 2 more parents and another teacher and a behavior therapist and an apprentice.
Henry Lord was ignored for quite some time, and that's why I kept bringing it up. Henry Lord is a great school. The kids in the school are very good kids. Like, I really can't express that enough. They're such a great eclectic group of mixed kids, and they all pretty much get along, and the teachers are great. And I think it just needed a little more attention from the administrative side. So I'm
You should put them out there and expect them to succeed. Is your daughter taking foreign language?
She is. They have Spanish, which was fabulous. I told her she should pat herself on the back for that. Yeah, so a lot of the kids were happy about that too. So I'm glad to see things going in the right direction. It needs to. If we want to have, healthy kids coming out of the South End schools, we need to make the South End schools better places to be. They're good kids, good parents too. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of good parents in the South End.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, we got a superintendent who, he's a worker. I mean, like, when they had the thing in Jersey where that stupid person took a picture of himself with a gun.
Right.
Now, can you imagine that they actually have metal detectors in Jersey? I mean, did we ever think we'd see that thing?
You know what? I honestly, when I was in school, we did. That's when violence, I think, started to uptick in the 90s, the mid 90s but I didn't think I would see metal detectors. I just think that sends, the kids, I don't know how I would feel if I was walking in the school and a metal detector was there. I don't know. I think it would be a bad feeling for me. Yeah.
The thing is, the kids actually like it. They feel safe.
Really?
I guess times are worse in a way than even they were when it started in the 90s.
Wow.
The thing is, they can't do it every day. So eventually what they're going to do is they're going to do it like spot checks. Random, like you'll never can predict when they're going to use it, when they're not.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be a little bit too much. But I went to a meeting the other day. I walked into like I was in an airport. So anyway, that's how things have changed. But
You think, Dr. Costamay, can I ask you this? Do you think that because they're talking about building a new high school, do you think that metal detectors would be a part of the build? Would that be something that would automatically be included in the new build, in the new high school, you think?
Well, you know what? I'm on that committee, but it would never come up.
Yeah, I wonder if that, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Hey, Nikki, I hate to say this, but I'm on the location subcommittee.
Are you?
Yes, I am. I volunteered for that subcommittee because I said that there should be representation from all areas of the city on that.
Yeah, there should be.
I don't know. Yeah, and there is.
Good.
What's going to happen? I don't know because we're limited money-wise. This idea that the state's going to pay 80%, we're going to only pay 20%. That's not really happening because there are certain things the state doesn't cover.
Right.
So, like, when it comes right down to it, it might be like 60-40. So that's like a lot of money.
Now, I'm still fond of the idea of two separate buildings, like one in each end of the city. Nobody wants that, huh? Nobody else brought that up?
Well, the problem with that is, I don't know yet. It's possible. The person will be higher once we decide who the architect is. Well, the build, there's groups that will do the building. They have to literally come into the building, look at everything, and then they have to look at all possibilities. Fixing it there, wiping the whole thing off, moving it somewhere else.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't think is a possibility is to have two high schools.
See, and I think that would be so beneficial.
Yeah.
And I say that just because we don't know how many students are going to be in our schools in the future, you know, so I think with a fluctuation, you know, charter schools being what they are, I don't know how I feel about building a school that would be as big as Durfee or as grand as Durfee when things are changing, you know, Diamond's expanding, all these other schools are expanding. So I don't know.
And Atlantis is putting a high school on top of Pond.
Yes, they are.
Really?
I just heard that yesterday.
Anyway, it's a lot of interesting things. I don't mean to interrupt you with your topics, but it's good to hear your voice.
I love you. You can interrupt me any day. I love it.
I've been really busy, but it's a good kind of busy. I feel like maybe the world isn't going to turn around, but things are getting done.
Well,
And
I can.
And I have a superintendent that I can work with that is out in the school more than he's in his office. You know, on Fridays, he sends everybody in the school committee everything he did all week.
Did he? Does he? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a story that's kind of cool. I don't know if you care, but I don't think it's a big deal, but he came into a meeting, a subcommittee meeting one time. It was a building subcommittee meeting. He was a little bit late, and he looked a little frazzled, and I said, what happened? He said, well, I was at school, and this teacher was trying to restrain a special ed kid, and she was having a tough time, so I jumped in to help. This is a superintendent. Think about the previous superintendent who never even went into the buildings very often. Never mind, helping the teacher restrain a kid, and the kid punched the superintendent and kicked him in the chest.
Wow.
But you know what kind of like cachet that gives him with like the teachers, and that he would actually do that? Because you know me, Nikki, I'm stupid. That's the kind of thing that I would do.
Yeah, right. I hear that.
If they start teaching trouble, I'd be jumping in. I'd probably get the crap kicked out of me, but I would, you know what I mean?
Well, as a parent, I appreciate that.
I like stuff like that.
And you know, it's cool. I know he's been at Henry Ward a lot because my daughter tells me when she's there. She said she could tell the difference when you guys are in the school and when you're not there. So I know he's been there quite a bit. And just a few things for her change. She's got straight A's all this year. She's loving school a lot more. I've just noticed a big difference in the attitude of some of the teachers. And I appreciate that greatly. Makes me happy.
And Henry Lloyd's basketball team beat more than my grandson. And I think they're going to be the champs this year.
Ooh.
They've actually got a CYO team that they've got that's played my grandson's CYO team already.
Yep.
And they really are good.
Listen.
As a team, they're really good.
I can tell you right now, the South End breeds some great ball players, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, they always will. That is right. That's right. Born and raised South Ender right here. I know it. A lot of guys come out of there. Very, very good, talented kids. The girls haven't started yet. They're a little bit on the behind side. They're still just getting used to the whole thing, the sports thing at Henry Lord. So this is the first year that they're doing tryouts and things like that. So right. This year we get to go up to 8th grade. So it'll be nice to see. You will.
Good. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for calling.
Take care, buddy.
right. I feel like Flanagan's still man.
I was just talking about how like we haven't even really
I
talked.
actually sent me a Facebook request to befriend him.
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, it's like a crazy world.
We were just talking about how like this topic, we haven't really been pushing it on Facebook anymore like it used to be. Everyone knows what's going on mostly, and now it's coming back in the news article on its own. Because why? They never resolved anything, right?
Well, you know what? Isn't it kind of odd? Because it seems to me, as someone, I've been kind of away from a lot of the Facebook stuff because I've been just between working and other things and just like trying to do the best I can for the school department. It's kind of obsessed me with that, and I've been really busy. But from afar, it looks like the Recaller family is kind of splintered off into different directions. Maybe it's going to take this to bring everybody back.
Well, it was, you got to remember, they called Recall Family, so it was the recall that got them together. Not, as a matter of fact, as soon as they got the recall, like immediately after the recall came, there was a lot of arguing as to who to vote for afterwards. Mayoza, Sam Sutter, you know what I mean? So it was as soon as the recall ended, everybody had their own positions, you know?
But then that was the first round, and then there were still issues that kind of binding people together, and then Jason came was the second round. So I mean, you know, like the first marathon, I mean, yeah, well, I'm thinking the primary where everybody was splintered off into different people, and then it went to the finals, and then people splintered off some more after that. So.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really, I mean, everybody is entitled to do what they want to do, but I think when it comes to the greater good of the city, that's when you see everybody work their best. I mean,
It comes down to what agenda are you?
Yeah.
Is your agenda for yourself, or is your agenda for the city overall? If people are involved in this for personal gain, we can go down the list of people that have tried to use the recall for personal gain and then fell by the wayside.
Wow, yeah.
And if people are still getting involved in city government overall for their own selfish reasons instead of really what's best for the city, I think that still to this day, people are a little bit more alert about it and are going to do something about it. I mean, people squeeze through the cracks all the time. You know, certain city councilors got elected along the way thinking that they were going to be fresh and new and they were just clones of the old ones. But we're still going to keep on pushing forward on it, right?
Yeah, well, because you know what it's about to. My feeling is you got to do what you can to try to make the city better in the areas where you have expertise. So, all right, so there are some things I don't have expertise in. There's some things I do. So that's where I'm focusing all my energy right now. You know.
Yep.
So, and other people can do the same thing in their areas too. So, it's about like trying to make things better.
that's right.
That's what it comes down to, man. Have a great day, sir.
One other question.
Yes. Who?
Barry Serpent.
Barry Serpa has been upset with me ever since I clowned him on the fact that the Celtics shouldn't take the same route that Philadelphia 76ers have taken and tanking every year. So I completely clowned him on it about a year and a half ago, and he blocked me for a little while on Facebook because of it. And now I think we're not blocked, but he's slowly but surely coming back into, like, you know, having conversations here and there. We're on Twitter together. I think he does listen, but he hasn't called in a while, and he is 100% free to call in.
Yeah,
I didn't harbor any ill will towards Barry. I just allowed him to process his way through the fact that we should never, ever, ever take the route that the Philadelphia 76ers are taking as an organization. That's all I got.
All I got for you for Barry who's listening is the San Francisco Patriots game. My upset prediction of the week: San Francisco to win that game.
Oh,
hang up now.
Boo.
Hang up now.
Boo.
And I am the biggest Patriots fan in the world, ticket holder. But think about Brady is going back to play in his hometown, right? I've never played there before, where he grew up as a San Francisco fan. He's got family, he's got friends, he's going. But what is it that Brady did recently that would alienate him from the entire city of San Francisco? Not that I want to talk politics, but just recently did it as well.
He voted for Trump, yeah.
He's going right into the biggest sanctuary city in the country, right?
You are right there. I give you that.
So I see.
Interesting.
Well, I see and I think it's my theory, and he's going to be like, he's going to try really hard. Sometimes when he tries too hard, that's when he doesn't have the best days. That's my
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you there. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you, Ed. I say the Patriots blow them out by at least 20.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. But I don't look at the football X's and O's. I look at like behind-the-scenes motivational stuff. And I'm a writer, maybe 50% of it. They tend to have more trouble when there's other stuff going on to distract them. I guess that's what I would say.
No, I think you go some. That's a good thought. That's a possibility. I wasn't thinking of it like that. But when you said it in that way, you are correct about San Francisco. So that'd be interesting.
Normally, when the hometown hero comes back, they're going to politely cheer for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine that happening this time.
Ooh, interesting.
Anyway, that's my prediction.
Good prediction.
Maybe they don't lose, but it's going to be a closer game than 20, I think.
I don't think so. I just don't think the team really has too much going on, and I'm just looking at it as at least 20. But hey, who knows? I'm not on TV. I'm not any of those guys. I could be wrong, and I've definitely been wrong in the past. So I didn't think Seattle was gonna beat the Pats on Sunday night, and I was wrong. So hey, who knows?
Yeah, lost a lot of sleep over that game.
I still like a baby.
Midnight on the 1 yard line. All right, well look, you people all have a good time. Nice to get in touch with you again. Good to hear you.
Same here. Good night. Well,
See you.
good day. I don't know why I said good night, but it works.
See you later, Ed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I love it.
Of course. Who doesn't? Well, I know who doesn't. Haters.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
But
care.
they're always gonna hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. People who have their own best interest in
Yeah.
mind and not the best interest in what's going on in the city. I'm trying to find it. I know that there was an article. I was talking about it before you called in. That Linda Pereira, when it first came out, when it was unpopular and it first came out, when Will Flanagan was the mayor, she said, we cannot impose this pay-as-you-throw on the taxpayers.
Mhm.
The taxpayers are already struggling as it is, and they can't have this put on them again or on top. And then in the preceding 2 years, she fully supported the bags. She tried to claim that there were bags down in Fort Lauderdale when it wasn't. She tried to say that all these people that are not buying bags are just being, non-compliant or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to use any kind of insulting names to anybody if they didn't get that insult, but
Freeloaders.
more like a freeloading type of thing,
Free
or
riders.
like people that don't want to comply to the law. And has no longer she ever has anything to say about the poor taxpayers that have so much of a burden on them. She's gone after policies that have put more of a burden on people than anybody. As far as the sanitation piece goes, she wanted to keep the sanitation enterprise fund, even though it was proven to continually,
It was
year
illegal.
after year.
It was illegal. So she never should have wanted to keep it.
But I'm just saying, year after year, that was still pulling money out of the general fund year after year, which puts more of a burden on taxpayers. So actions speak louder than words, in my opinion. If you're going to talk about taking the burden off taxpayers, and then turn around and go and support a bunch of policies and then actually talk bad about the people that don't want to comply to those policies, then you're just completely, in my opinion, not credible on
I
it.
know this is not, but
Right.
it's still funny. It's still a funny headline.
This is from Georgia, though.
I know it's
Oh,
not.
all right,
It's
all
not
right.
the same one, but I just think it's funny.
It's very interesting. So yeah, and again, this whole process of figuring out somewhere along the way, are we ever as people going to realize that we don't have to put up with this? We don't have to put up with this crap. We can choose no at all options and boycott, right?
Mhm.
And then they say, oh, how are you going to pay for this? Your tax money can produce about 200. When you add in the addition from the state, your tax money covers about $250 to $260 million on average, depending on the year, depending on what else is going on,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You can actually pay for things in the city with the tax money you have. You don't need to have the extra stuff on top. It's really about an allocation of funding It's
This
about
was to
making
take the place of the money they were making from the landfill when they were making
Yep.
money. The second they stopped making money from the landfill,
Yep.
they needed to figure out how to line their pockets, and this was the way they could do it.
and they were lying about how much money they were getting from the
Yeah,
landfill.
I mean, if you look at, I've months ago, I've always said, go look at the timeline. Look at the timeline. Remind yourselves of the timeline, people. That's exactly what happened. They spent all this money that they were getting from the landfill when it was open, right? They spent it all. They gave themselves raises. They gave themselves the benefits. They did all this stuff, this fun stuff, right? Fast forward to today, when the landfill is no longer there, it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We need this money. It's like a drug addict, right? They need their money. The money is a drug to them.
What did they say that they were getting from the landfill at one point? Wasn't it just like 1.2 million?
Oh, it was millions. Yes.
No,
like,
but they said it was like 1.2
yeah,
or
through the years,
Yeah.
it was less and less as the years went on because there was less and less space. They couldn't take as much trash in. But when you look at how many years
they had that, yeah.
they were open and they were paying the city of Fall River, like I've said a 1,000 times, where is that money? And granted, now I can't put that on the current mayor because let's face it, he wasn't even born when they were stealing money from taxpayers back then when they were using it all. He doesn't have anything to do with that. But when we go and we look at those counselors who have been on the city council for very long periods of time, Ray Mitchell and DePerera, you know, their expertise, they've been there. So yeah, your expertise at stealing taxpayer dollars. That's what you're experts at.
So when you factor all this in, number one, the number that we were getting back, it can't be, it's not fitting. So if you were getting 1.5 or whatever it was from the landfill, and you're actually getting that figure from the purple bags, then nobody can tell me that the purple bags are just paying for disposal. It's just not true.
No, it's not.
Right.
And how many times have we said, what is it costing us? What I've asked openly, what are we paying for? And note they dance around that topic
All day
like
long.
crazy because they don't want to answer it.
Or they don't know it.
They know it. They don't know it because all the trash is collected together. So they actually don't know it. But they can't admit that they don't know it because if they don't know it, then they're admitting there's no way for them to figure out who uses what.
You'd figure after about 3 years. You'd figure after how many years have we been asking this question to them to just tell us how much of it is residential, how much of it is private. You'd figure after years, like at least 2 years, they would have at least some way to start measuring this. They still haven't figured that out.
Especially since it's a fee, folks. Let's go back to the definition of a fee. A fee is only to be charged to those who are paying for a service. That service cannot be provided to anyone not paying the fee. So if it is included in the tax base, then guess what? You can't threaten taxpayers by saying, we're going to take your carts. The carts are there to collect the trash. Doesn't matter what color the damn bag is, folks.
Right.
They can't do that to you. They just can't. It's against the law, no matter what they try to tell you.
I'll share this bit of information right now.
All these years later, they still haven't collected a penny from fines.
I'm gonna share this a little bit of information right now, and I don't really care who knows. The fact that I don't actually use a green cart for my trash, I'm breaking the law. Am I using a purple bag? Absolutely, I am. But I'm breaking the law because in the ordinance it says that the bag must be in the cart for it to be picked up. I just put it on top of the recycling bin and that's it.
Guess what?
What?
Because technically you're not breaking the law. It's just that Fall River doesn't know how to create ordinances that follow state law. Let's just say that. Why do you think nobody's being fined? It's just, I'm telling you.
Let's also
I could do
factor
this
in
my sleep. Like this is years already I've been looking at.
Let's also factor in that we've been the other characteristic between Will Flanagan and Jason Correa on this purple bag issue and the revenue that they get from this. Factor in that if it was actually costing us, if this was actually supposedly paying for only our disposal and only residential disposal, then we already got the money. However, the compliance numbers, we've been lied to from day one.
From jump.
From Flanagan to Sutter and now to Jazel. We have not, if there was 90% compliant, 98 or whatever high number that they've been telling you, then they would be a lot closer to their projections.
That's right.
And they're always short. They were short this year. They were short last year. They were short the year before.
Guess why? Because what we're paying for and what's costing so much is the recycling. And so many people who are getting recycling aren't buying purple bags because they don't have to.
So you're kind of I hopefully you understood what she said, because basically they're chasing their tail.
Yeah.
They're chasing their tail
They're
in
going
that
after
scenario.
the wrong people. They're going to go after tenants, right? In 3-family homes, the one tenant who's not using a purple bag, instead of going to Airport Road to all the companies that we're collecting their recycling, or all the properties that are 6+ tenements, we're collecting their recycling. If that recycling is contaminated and it's $80+ a ton, the taxpayer is paying for that. I just can't see looking at, hey, Mr. Lee, you own property, but you got one tenant out of your 4 who's not buying purple bags. I have to take your car, but I just got to tell you, the tax dollars you pay are going to pay for recycling to be picked up from other people.
There it is. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
And
How can the city councilors be cool with that? Like, you're so shady. So shady. I don't even care. They're shady shits. They sit there, they want their stuff.
they're
Like,
shady
God.
shit, she says.
Shady shit.
You know, I wish I could play some of that music, but I can't.
Can we get the hashtag going? Shady shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. It's
Edward
just,
Costa.
I see it. It's like so.
Edward
right
Costa,
there.
you're
Like,
out there
you're
right
cool
now.
with that?
Edward Costa, you're out there right now. You just learned what Twitter is. Also learn the hashtag business on Twitter. It's amazing. Okay.
Like, that's as a city councilor, are you okay with that? Like, that's, and if you are, then fine. But that's a you're a shady shit. Yeah. But if you're not cool, then speak up. But the fact they don't say anything, right? They're okay with it. They're either okay with it or they're not smart enough to understand it. Neither of which is a good scenario.
If anybody wants to call in, 774-955-0533.
Update on the salad thread on my on Coastal Foodies. To my friend who said, "You trust gas station food?" I told her, I said, mangoes and salad is a fair shot. I would stay away from the chili cheese hot dogs.
No sandwiches.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Stay away from the chili cheese hot dogs and all that other stuff, right?
Like, the only way I might actually try a sandwich is if it was actually like wrapped in plastic, like vacuum sealed and some
Don't
stuff.
do it. Don't do it. I'm
might.
telling you, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd be that person who'd be like getting the salmonella and all that stuff. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Or the rib sandwiches, like you don't want to.
The riblet.
You don't want to eat those riblet sandwiches with the nasty barbecue.
Yeah,
no, you don't want that. But a salad, some fruit, I think you can live with that.
Some would think that we just actually transitioned to food. No, but we were still talking
It's
about
still
garbage.
trash. It's
Yeah. We're still talking about stuff you need to throw in
We
the bag.
recycle.
Yes.
We recycle.
Yes. All right. I think we got a comment on our City Talk thread.
What?
Yeah.
Say it is so.
Just saying. Let's see. Let me read it. My super fast high internet. Here we go. What is the number, my friend? Now, he asked me what the number is, right? Isn't the number in the thread?
Yeah, it is. That's great.
Come on, man. I put that right in the thread, didn't I?
Well, come on, though.
I'm just saying.
Maybe
744
he's on his phone.
955.
It's possible.
You're just no, okay? No.
You're just no. Oh wait. Oh no, that's not it. I saw a light up, but it wasn't.
Shit real good.
Ding.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, so
Yo.
I got text messages popping on my phone. I'm actually going to be helping a friend of mine who's taking college courses write an article or write a paper for a class. That's what that text message was. There's nothing dirty going on my phone. Nikki. She is so funny right now.
I missed this last week. I really did.
The phone number is 774-955-0533. Please call in if you want to have a conversation about some things. Edward Costa called in. Very, very nice. Last week, we had Rick Barlow call in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rick Barlow is just a regular concerned citizen about the community. He has been involved in several dozens of different cleanup projects through Angels Anonymous, where he's a member of now. He also branches out and helps out with Citizens for a Cleaner Fall River, CCFR. He does his own thing. If he's like the thing that I'm doing down at Turner Park, that's not really belonging to any agency at all. So anybody, and even if it was an Angels event, we open the door wide open for anybody to jump in and join in with us. But this wasn't anything like that. This wasn't an official Angels thing. This was just me, Scott Donnelly, Rick Barlow, and a handful of other people today, still going down to Turner Park, still knocking down a lot of thorns, brush, trees, branches, weeds.
Look at you, Trott, saving money so the city can go through trash bags and find people.
That's exactly why I'm doing this. Or
You're
not.
so giving.
Or not. You
So
choose. You
giving.
choose. You
You're
choose.
so giving.
I appreciate it.
TJ Lee for City Council 2K17.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes I think I don't want to. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I don't want to. I'm very discouraged by what goes on in our politics. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, but the problem,
it's very disgusting.
I get that though, but
Yeah.
eventually what has to happen is that in order to change the atmosphere of the local politics, you must remove some of those people who are causing
You
such.
got to look in the man in the mirror.
Yeah, you got to find out how to change his ways. And he has some change.
Hello, you're on with City Talk Fall River.
No message could be any
What's going on,
clearer.
DJ?
Is this Jeffrey?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jeffrey, I want you to look back on Facebook, okay? I want you to go.
I'm sorry. 'Cause that was my bad.
All right, man. I just wanted you to see that it was there. Because I've been getting criticism, man.
Because I was listening to the show. I'm listening to it while I'm doing things, so I didn't get a chance to see the number.
I'm getting criticism that I don't leave the number on my stuff, and then I put the number out there. He's like, "Man, what's the number?"
Well, how's it going?
Everything's good so far. We're talking about the topic that we've been bringing up, or I kind of brought up myself, is the role of government in our lives. When did we knock down that wall and just allow them to feel very obligated that they can just, go into your pocket, take your money, and say it's for the greater good, it's for the services in the city or whatever else you want to call it, and they just have full autonomy to fine you and take things away from you, and we've just kind of laid down and allowed them to do it.
Yep. I have to say, as usual, I've been listening. I've been going to the council meetings. I know you haven't been there as much, but man, it is just getting ridiculous every minute, and I'm just so fed up with it.
What's going on in the council chambers? I'll be honest with you. A friend of mine, Rob, asked me about hey, what do you think of the lieutenant governor of Massachusetts? I was like, who? I have not been paying. Yeah, Polito. I haven't been paying attention to anything. So tell me what's been going on in the council chambers.
Well, honestly, this has been a lot of crap. Between the trash, the recycling, the cemetery. I've been to every meeting on this. So I'll get to the purple bags and the recycling. Like I said when I called last time, it's not working. Nobody wants to buy it. It's not doing a damn thing for the city.
Hey, Jeff.
It's not making the money that they want.
Yeah, Jeff, financially, economically, you look at environmentally, it hasn't been helping. In every aspect, like in the way that Nikki described it earlier, it hasn't helped anybody politically either. People who have taken a hard stance on shoving purple bags down everybody's throat hasn't really come out on top politically,
Especially if you're going to be threatening people by taking their barrel that people do recycle.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you just focus on recycling more than the bags?
Because recycling doesn't make them any money right now because it's too contaminated. The recycling is too contaminated. It's almost like they have to collect X amount of tons of recycling in order to get all these little grants and all these little things that we're involved in, which is more money from the government. So what they did was they started collecting trash from places like Doolin Apartments or other 6+, 4+ tenements, even if that property privatizes their trash pickup. So essentially, if they don't want to spend so much money on their tonnage, what stops them from contaminating the recycling? So even if every 3-tenement single family home is recycling properly, if all these other people we collect from aren't, that still drives up our costs. But they're not threatening Doolin Apartments to take away their recycling carts. They're not, threatening the private properties who have private services. They're not threatening them to take away their recycling carts. They're threatening to take away the carts from residents who can't force their tenants to buy purple trash bags. You know what I mean? It's like they want you to do their dirty work.
This is why I've described this as chasing their tail.
That's
because we're really like hamsters in a wheel with the way it's set up now.
Keep going and going. Keep
Right.
repeating itself.
Right. If we actually just had a regular recycling and sanitation contract with one company, one way to pay for it through our tax base, we wouldn't even have all this issue. And we would make sure that we separate between what's residential, what's commercial, what's public, what's, you know what I mean? So that way we know exactly who is getting what service for the tax money that they invest into the system. It's not happening that way.
Here's the other part of it.
You know,
Jeff, did you know that the city of Fall River recycles textiles for free? So like if you have old blankets, old clothes that maybe you can't donate, but you don't want to throw in the trash, right? Well, automatically you would throw them in the trash because you can't technically recycle them. You can actually, you can recycle them. You could bring them down to Lewiston Street and they accept textiles at no cost. So that would essentially, you know, save some purple bags maybe for some people on a trash day, but they don't tell you that. That's not something they talk about.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't tell people that.
You just throw them in the trash.
No, if you actually go on, I'm not sure of the website right now. I'll find it later and have Trott post it. You can go on and see what they collect, and they actually collect a lot of stuff. You know, it's for free, but they're getting grants to collect these things because the state, the government, they don't want it going to the landfill. It's supposed to be to take it away from going to the landfill. But Fall River likes to keep those secrets. They don't like to tell you that.
Shh.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was at the meeting, when everybody was again talking about trash, you know, Linda Pereira again, threatening people to take if they're not going to comply.
Yeah.
They should go private. They can go to another private company. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're seriously going to threat people if you don't get your way by making the money. And also when when one of the councilors was saying, you guys remember when Joe was saying about having people go into the bag, going into those recycling bags and looking inside? They're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just we're not spying on people's stuff.
Right, but even
getting paid.
here's the kicker of that though. We could spend all day going through those trash bags. If there's no identifying information, there's no fine. So even at the end of the day, I mean, they can threaten to take somebody's cart, but then, you know, I would hope that property property owner would then turn around and sue the city of Fall River because they're paying their taxes for that service and they can prove it. I've got photographic evidence that can prove that the city of Fall River is collecting from properties who are not putting into purple trash bags. You know, and if the claim is, oh, well, it's different, it's separated. Okay, so then how many tons come from residential and how many tons come from everywhere else? They can't answer that question. And I keep asking them. I keep asking.
No, I just don't know what else we can keep.
Okay.
What else?
It's because we don't have the thing.
They keep ignoring us whenever we try to get our true our feelings. They just don't care. So next year, things will definitely be changing. Hopefully for the better. Maybe I'm just getting really fed up with the drama.
I agree.
Did any? I know you guys haven't talked about the cemetery because I've been going to that as well. What is your thoughts on that?
Nikki's been pretty vocal about that. I'll let her go on that, and then I'll give my piece afterwards.
Well, I mean, it just for me, my mother is passed away a very long time ago. So when she passed away, we got this packet. You know, we bought her plot and all that stuff. We got this packet that gave us the rules of the cemetery, what we can and can't do. And part of what we couldn't do was you could place flowers, but that was pretty much it. You couldn't put anything, no photographs, no anything like that. That would be, when they mow the lawn, that would be considered a projectile. It would get caught up and be a projectile. So I don't know what this big fight is really all about. I can't say I know everything. I know I've heard bits and pieces of it. So I'm not exactly sure what the big argument is. If it's that the cemetery itself doesn't want anybody putting anything on a particular stone? Or is it that they're stopping them from, do they have to put flat stones in? Like even for my mom had to have a flat stone where she was. I don't see why it's such a big fight.
I know. I just don't see what's the big argument is that people, people can't afford urns, so they have to get. I don't know, because I never bought fake urns before, so you can get real urns, but they are saying that the removals were, not 100 years old. They were like some of them saying that they were like from late 40s or 50s, but you can still consider them, old.
Right.
So they just wanted to cause more pressure to the city because they don't have that many workers to be
right
working at the cemetery.
For me, that's how I look at it. I mean, and when you're pushing an issue like this is one of those that can be emotional for a lot of people. I think it hits people in the hearts. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I always say for me, my mom passed away all those years ago, and it was written in our packet what we couldn't do. So it was up to us at that moment to argue it with the cemetery. So I don't think the city should be involved in it. I mean, I know the city owns the cemetery, but it's.
I truthfully don't think that we need to
like
have our people leaving things there, but if it's getting in the way of
The cleaning,
of
the
the cleaning and the
maintenance.
maintenance of the cemetery, then things have to either be removed or there should be some level
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say real quick before anything, I think that the politicians that are really pushing this are developing their platforms for the next election,
Yeah.
and they're really preying on the emotions of people who have plots out there that would like to have their plots with more extra stuff. I think that they're using pictures of cemeteries and broken graveyards and things like that for the shock value to say, oh my God. And then they're putting their face right on the side of those pictures, right? These politicians, some of them are. You're seeing them in the newspaper and everything. I just think that this is a platform for them and the positions that they're taking. I think within all that, there are some valid concerns, right? But that's what politicians do for the most part. They take valid concerns and then they manipulate them to put them into their own, playing field so that they can use this as a platform for their elections. So don't get too caught up in what these politicians are saying about it, but really, really think about it. If you had a plot for a family member and, you had a nice, modest display and someone on the side of you had a ridiculous, not ridiculous, I don't want to say ridiculous, but a very large display that was maybe imposing on somebody else's plot.
And it happens.
Right? Or, they had so much stuff that when the wind blows, it's all over the cemetery and things like that. To me, how would you feel about that, really?
You're right. I mean, for my opinion, from day one, I have no problems have people putting little figures on their family's grave because it's their property. They bought the stone, they bought the grave for that.
The contract they had upon burial to see what it says. It tells you, right? And it gets signed right there. You know what I mean? There you go. Whatever happened then that's the contract. That's the contract you go by, period.
Mm.
Well, no, because if during the fall, the summer, people put real flowers on people's graves. They're responsible if they want. I mean, other people can. That's their job is to water the plants and water the flowers. But if they want to put anything else, they have to remove things, take things out, and then put something new. So during the winter, they need to take that stuff out because then people do need to, again, sweep
if you
I
ever,
totally agree with that.
if you ever go through the cemetery, especially during the fall, you will see a lot of flowers that are dead, a lot of things that aren't very well taken care of in some cemeteries. Some cemeteries are absolutely beautiful. But like for me, my mother has a flat headstone, and a lot of times it's very easy if it hasn't been mowed in a while. A lot of grass will grow over her headstone, and I have to go in with a pair of shears and really cut around her headstone. So I get really bothered when a neighbor has such a big thing of flowers or something on their headstone and it's not mowed. And I don't blame the cemetery workers. You know, look at how many headstones are there. If 40% of them have flowers on them, it's very difficult for them to mow properly. You know, then you talk about little figurines, and while it might seem okay, if one of those little figurines gets caught in a lawnmower, it could hurt someone. So I don't think they're taking, nobody's thinking about that. It's just they want it. To me, it's a money thing. It's a heartstring thing. And like Trott said, it's a platform for the next election.
We have an obligation to see through this as voters, as people who really truly care about the community. We have an obligation to make sure that we're critical throughout every single political topic. Why is this politician taking this angle? Why is this politician having a picture in the paper on this all the time? Why are they pushing this agenda? Why are they repeating themselves so much on this topic? They want to drill in your head that they're a champion for whatever that cause is.
For the people. We're going to, do whatever we can to keep flowers on your headstone, but we're going to charge you out of your rear end for trash. Like it's a smoke screen.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. But because I've been going to these special meetings. I know they're only out there for the stuff because I heard Linda saying, I have no relatives there, but I go there. It's a beautiful park to go. But you're saying you don't have no relatives there. Some do. And they want, some are upset. And that's fine. But some people are out there for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I was there, she said that back in the old days that people used to go do picnics. They don't do that anymore. That's not true. Because somebody told me, right next to me, saying that's not true. She's lying.
Yeah, she's definitely. Yeah, I do. I go sit at my mother's grave a lot. I have a friend whose brother passed away, and she'll have lunch with her brother. I don't know. I think it's too much. That to me, it's whatever the contract was signed with the cemetery. I don't think it needs to be all this big and blown up. I mean, and if that family is really if whoever is really that upset, then why don't they discuss having some kind of a memorial built in the cemetery? Maybe that they can, here you can go put your flower on display or this on display in memory of your family member. I'm not trying to sound crass. I mean, majority of my family members are all buried at Notre Dame Cemetery, but your family member is buried and gone and doesn't care whether you put flowers on their headstone or not.
No, you're right. But like also I've been looking to the park board. Some of them don't even this past Wednesday, they didn't even know what they made a huge, they said that they were responsible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't even know what's more of a joke, them or city council.
Yeah, they're kind of equal.
Because they are.
I think it's a lot of people running around with like a chicken with their head cut off. They don't know what they're doing right now. They have no idea. Trying to listen to this one, trying to listen to that one, instead of just being real and doing their own homework and talking to residents, actual residents, not the small few that come from the same areas of the city over and over and over again. Same ones all the time.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Actually,
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna let you go if you were all set, but go ahead.
Thanks for
All right, man. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
thank you, man.
I appreciate it. So while we were on the line with Mr. Jeffrey, somebody else was trying to call.
Who were they?
They sure were.
Yeah, who's this? Or is it a secret?
Nope. Go ahead.
No. It's all you. It's all you, dude.
R.
Oh,
You can stop right there.
Rainbow Child.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's great.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. He shall be calling
You know, I
soon.
actually found out what a rainbow child was.
Mhm.
It is a term that women use for children who are born after a lost pregnancy or miscarriage or a infant death, excuse me.
Hi, RBT. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not bad. Not bad. You know that somebody else was on the line when you were calling in, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
So why would you call in?
Just double checking to make sure you knew.
I figured I'm a smart rainbow child.
He's a smart rainbow child.
Yeah.
Just getting that out.
So the question I have for the two of you.
There's actually 3 of us here, buddy. So
Oh, there's 3. That's great. I forgot his name. It's Derrick.
Very good. I'm here. What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to be remembered sometimes.
But the question that I have is, why is it not good business to support local trash companies?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's a serious question that like nobody seems to ever ask on the 6th
oh
floor.
god, I can't. I just gotta sit back.
So the question is, why is it a bad thing? So it's already being framed that it is a bad
No, I
thing.
said, why is it not a good thing?
Well, if it's not a good thing, it's a bad thing, right?
Okay, so why is it a good thing to support local trash companies?
Well, I think it's a good thing to support any kind of local company.
Me too. You support.
All right,
whatever-
real quick, RBT. I think I know where you're going with this. Just let me know. You're phrasing. You're bringing up the question like we should be supporting local companies, so therefore we should be contracting with local companies or privatizing with local companies. Correct?
Yeah, because like every time I talk to my landlord about this situation, it's why don't you just go privatize trash?
Mhm.
And he looks at me and he goes, well, the city's cheaper. It's like, well, come on, now think about it. You're going to support, okay, granted the city's cheaper, but, it's a burden on the taxpayers that the city still can't afford.
Right.
Instead, if the landlord would just go and privatize the trash, he then gets the tax write-off on his property.
No, but he's already paying for trash in his taxes, so we don't need that.
It would be a double. They would be paying doubly for it because they would still be paying through their tax base, and
Well, that's
then also looking for some type of return by privatizing. So they're going to be paying like 2 different ways for the same thing.
Well, and then if you listen, CJ brings it up once in a while. There's a way like that the government can just say, okay, no, go privatize trash. The city
Basically,
trash business.
CJ's position, and he can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but his position has been similar to the ones that I was talking about last year. And I'm not implying that he got the idea from me, because I don't believe that for a second. I think he just had his own view and I had my own view, and they were similar. Real quick. But he basically said that the trash business, actually, I remember Rigo on WSAR was saying, Wayne Rigo was saying the same exact thing. Completely get out of the trash business. Take trash completely out of the whole trash out of the city's hands completely, and just leave it to whoever owns property to privatize their trash. That would eliminate
And lower taxes
Right.
after doing so.
and that would eliminate the whole
Yep.
issue from a government angle. And then Nikki just mentioned, if you didn't hear her, also factor in that if they do such a thing, that they would lower the taxes because it wouldn't have to pay anymore. Technically, it wouldn't be justified to have a tax that high if your tax money isn't paying for sanitation anymore. And I think that's the number one reason why the city, and even including the Jazel administration, the city will not fully get out of the trash business, because for some entities it's been lucrative. It's been lucrative for government officials in some cases. It's been lucrative for the private companies that they're in business with. So I still to this day would not have an issue if Jason Correa or whatever future mayor in wherever says, hey, Fall River is now getting out of the trash business.
Made my day.
All property owners are responsible for their sanitation.
Yes.
Otherwise, otherwise the Board of Health will come down and, whatever results are that comes out of that. But,
I just honestly, I believe, if you remember, it's been going on for decades, that this used to be the cookie jar.
mm-hmm.
And, it's time that the people of Fall River, through the last couple of years, we've been able to put the cap on the cookie jar.
Is there a carrot?
And, I just believe now it's just time to take the cookie jar and throw it up.
That's perfectly fine. You could have just went straight to that instead of asking me the rhetorical question about local business and all that. You could have probably just went.
Just trying to kill airtime.
Oh, well, thank you for trying to kill my airtime.
I
I appreciate it. Thank you.
In a good way.
I got you. No, all reality, RBT, I think that that's one of, CJ Ferry is not the devil, right? There are some things that I agree with on him, and there's a lot of different things I don't agree with on him. On this, I think he has been vocalizing his position for a while. I know during the election, I vocalized that position as well. And I know that way back, Wayne Rigo, when it started really getting into the purple bag situation and the sanitation fee and all that, he also shared that same position. I actually called into the show when him and Faust were hosting it, and I said, that's a libertarian point of view, right? To just completely get government out of it and to go completely private. They didn't really respond well to that. But I was like, that's a true statement. Like, that's exactly what it is. Again.
Do you remember the other thing that Wayne Rigo used to talk about?
Is it appropriate for my show?
Yes.
All right, what was it?
Bottling the water.
Yeah. I do recall that as well.
And if it is something that, it does seem like the city is starting to work towards it.
That's great. We're in drought, so. We're in drought.
I did not hear you. I'm sorry.
Nikki said that we're in a drought, though, so it probably wouldn't be very helpful
probably
right
not
now to
gonna
do
happen.
that.
No, but it's still something that would take 2 years to accomplish.
Well, it's great. It might take 2 years to accomplish us getting the water to even bottle it.
Still can't hear her.
All right, hold on a second.
I said it may take us 2 years to get enough water to even try to bottle it.
All right, you got to look. Do you realize that the city of Fall River actually owns all the water within 10 miles?
Do you realize we are in, no matter how, so that just means we own more land that's in drought. Drought, RBT, drought means not enough water, drought.
Okay, but don't you realize no matter what, it's still water, and if we have these...
I forgot yeah, you're right.
So that they can drink clean water, wouldn't that be good karma?
Wouldn't it be nice if we were...
Are you still talking to him?
No.
So I just I think the point of that conversation, her piece on this was that if we're in a drought, it's going to be very hard to supply anybody, Flint, Michigan, or anybody with water. Even if we own the property for 10 miles or so, it's still going to be a difficult task to provide water if we're in a drought and water is limited.
I agree, but maybe then we should all just start doing rain dances.
And on that note,
Somebody else does.
if that's your official position, we appreciate it. We'll take that note to do rain dances.
I will put that in my pocket.
Yep. All right.
It is officially noted.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye. If I'm doing a rain dance, I'm doing the juju on that beat dance. I don't know if you guys have been involved in this lately. Have you seen it? It's amazing.
The juju on that beat dance?
Yes.
No,
Amazing.
I want to now.
Amazing.
No.
Amazing.
Is that something that we can
Some
play? Can we play it?
super duper talented people out
Super
there
duper fun.
Can we
doing
play it?
some dance. Yeah. Can I play the song?
Super duper fly.
I'm going to avoid playing any kind of commercial songs on the show from now on. We've been shut down a couple of times. Like our show has been shut down a couple of times.
We don't need the whole song, just a tidbit.
I don't want to take any chances, but I'll show you the dance to it. It's
All
pretty
right,
awesome.
that's fine. I'll take the dance. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Because this is radio, unfortunately, our friends can't see it unless we share it with them. Can we share it with them?
On our page?
On our
We're gonna share Juju on that beat on our page right now.
I don't know. I'm asking.
In honor of RBT's.
I've never heard the song.
In honor of RBT's
I've never heard the song.
idea
so
to do a rain dance.
I cannot dedicate a song if I haven't heard it yet. The last thing I want to do is dedicate a song to someone without knowing its meaning.
All I'm saying is if we're doing a dance, a rain dance, this is the dance I'm doing. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not going to play the video. The speaker's not on right now.
That's
but
fine.
y'all can watch the dance.
I just want to see the dance.
Now, you're going to laugh. It's great. I love it. So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, it's great. It's great.
I think my kid does.
These guys are beasts.
Yeah, my kid definitely does it.
So what we were talking about as far as what Jeffrey brought up earlier before RBT jumped in about that cemetery piece, just to really reiterate that there are legit concerns about the care and everything of the cemetery, right? Of the cemetery plots and everything like that. But it's awesome. But we have to. I think we have to. No, that move was awesome.
It reminds me of like clown car kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it's because my kid irritates me when she does it.
pretty-
So like she'll be sitting there talking to me.
You got the clown part right of this.
These guys are excellent dancers. I don't think if I played the song right now and had you dance to this, you would beat them.
I don't think they're dancing. You think that's dancing?
Absolutely, they're great. They're excellent. At any rate, my opinion matters and yours doesn't. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, always.
All
Wow. Please vote
Derrick,
for
I let him believe that.
Please vote for TJ Lee 2K17.
Yes.
It gives him confidence.
No, but isn't that what everyone?
his voice matters. In your
All reality,
Well,
isn't that?
ultimately, that's my voice because I always tell him what to do.
Yes. Isn't that?
that's right.
Isn't that what people? That's how people argue now. They just say my opinion matters and yours doesn't.
Yes.
Right?
It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah. Like I'll be like, wow, I love.
Look at this article I found.
I love this. Yeah, exactly. Look at this fake article I found. Fake news, by the way, is the ultimate winner of 2016.
I know. I saw that.
2016 has been completely dominated by fake news. It was amazing. They did a great job.
We've got some people around here who helped to spread that fake news.
Oh yeah, all day long.
To them.
Yeah, congrats to Throw Up in Fall River for posting fake news left and right and doing a great job of that. I got people coming to me. Well, this is what. No, that's not true at all. No, that's not true when you actually think about it logically. But I was just to say that's how people argue now. They argue based on their opinion. So if I say, "Hey, Derrick, Dave's Pizza is excellent," you go, "Dave Pizza's garbage," and that's all we. And then we're just talking about.
I would like to stress that I officially never said that,
and it is the best.
I wouldn't say it's the best, though, but it's definitely. I'm gonna say it's the top. You don't control what I say, so.
Not yet.
No, you won't. Jedi mind trick don't work on me, lady. Please.
But the thing is though, when you're stating your opinion on something, right? Like, it's just an opinion. Like people get all in an uproar. People get all in an uproar over a freaking opinion, right? They can't just say I disagree. I think this is or something like that. They got to go like the extra step and think that they're going to argue their way into you believing of changing your opinion on something,
right?
On the way something tastes.
I like when somebody says, "Well, my opinion is right." I'm like,
yes. No, some opinions can be backed up with facts better, but there's no fact out there that's going to tell me when you say to me they're not dancers, and I say, "Oh, they are dancers," right? Like. That's just a subjective opinion. There's nothing objective you can pull out of your hat that's going to say otherwise. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Just like I have my opinion, say that those guys were clowns.
Like if I say Sam Sutter was a really bad mayor who didn't live up to any of the promises he said he was going to come up with, right? someone can say to me, oh, I have my opinion. I have my opinion. I have my opinion. But then if I present some facts that back up my claim, and the other person just says, I have my opinion. I have my opinion. Now you're in a different situation because somebody's actually bringing evidence to back their opinion. And that's a whole different, point of view. When we were going through the recall, I was on the internet on a regular basis, pointing out all the facts and things like that would support Flanagan being recalled. And over and over and over again, we get people like, well, it's my opinion and I'm entitled to it. Even though there's a bunch of evidence even though there's a bunch of evidence to back the claim and everything else, at the end, it's like, it was my opinion. I don't care. So there's different types of arguments. There's arguments where you can literally provide no evidence to back the opinion. It's just like, I like something. I think it's good. And then there's some other things where you can say, well, factually, XYZ shows that this isn't true at all. And you can't then turn around and say, oh, this is my opinion. Because now you don't have, you're kind of like defying the actual fact of the situation. So just throwing it out there.
I caught it.
You got me. You got it? You caught it?
I did.
Touchdown.
She's got Captain America socks on? Is that what's going on?
Did you not hear me like 4
Yes, I
times?
I was in the middle of talking about it.
Please, that would have distracted anybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did see some red, white, and blue.
Yes, I have Captain America socks on.
Well, congratulations, Nikki. Style. Very nice.
Now her opinion means a lot more to you now.
Well, yeah. As long as you can, hey, I'm all for it. If you can back up your opinion with facts, then I'm on your side all day long. I don't care who you are. RBT just made a phone call. He didn't have the facts to back him up as far as the water thing. So he said, hey, let's do a rain dance.
Water.
Yeah.
Last resort.
That was a solution to a problem. Not exactly a solution.
I mean,
to
we're
work.
not going to say it wouldn't work because it might. We haven't tried it yet.
True story.
So if he wants to see if it'll work, I mean, that would be fabulous.
He should go out to What's Up a Pond and do a rain dance.
Can someone, if that does happen, and if you are listening, RBT, can you please go Facebook Live on that, just so I can see it?
I mean, if you're really going to rain dance, if he thinks that would work.
I want to know, because I want to make sure
say it wouldn't work.
If it works, I want to know what he did so I can, duplicate it.
Right.
Because if it's going to work, then let's go.
I mean, that just right there would be great.
In that conversation with RBT, you talked about getting rid of trash from the city's service altogether. Now, some people don't think that's a solution because they actually want the city service.
It's a fabulous idea, though.
Pay for your own, but that gives companies an opportunity to go, just like.
Well, no, because it depends on how we can get rid of our trash. Do the residents of Fall River even know what their options are as far as getting rid of their trash?
You mean
Probably not.
Yeah.
So
calling different agencies to collect styrofoam.
Uh-huh.
Calling different agencies to collect your recycling, things like that.
Composting, or bringing your trash to other local towns, close communities to Fall River, who may be cheaper than getting rid of your trash in Fall River.
Right. Right.
We could call up Republic and say, hey, can I drop my trash off there myself?
Right.
Why would you need a purple bag if you're bringing it there yourself?
And then you can probably coordinate with some neighbors and things like that and set something up.
Yep.
It'd be nice. But that ain't gonna happen.
Nope. Because they lack the money.
Too much.
Always will be.
Yep. So I guess another function of the traffic and DCM group is to look and see if your car has been inspected. Right? Keep up with your inspection.
Well, it's so important. I mean, everybody's car should be inspected every year to make sure that nobody gets hurt, right?
There are some states that don't even require inspection stickers.
Good thing we live here in Massachusetts.
Right. And to me, that can be a straight money grab in a lot of cases.
I'd like to see the law changed so it be every other year. It
Yeah.
should be. I mean,
Do you feel like we should have inspection stickers, period?
I see the point for them. I think.
Do you see the point for them, or were you conditioned to see the point for them?
No, I see the point for them.
What's the point for them?
But hold on. I think that if you're going to have an inspection sticker for a car, for whatever reason they do it for the year, which is either safety or emissions, I think that if you're going to do it in one shot, just do it in one damn shot. It's not going to make you a better driver. It's not going to make your car any safer because you are ultimately in control of that car. But I just
they only test certain things. Like which one is tested every, like once your car is a certain age, it stops.
1999, I don't have to. I have a check engine light.
Yep.
Any car, I think before 2000, you don't have to worry about the check engine light.
Right.
Which I have.
Which is now
have
is
no
that
reason
emission?
why.
It's you have to do emissions. You don't have to do safety, right?
I think it's every. Oh, shoot.
Well, it
Is every
changes
other-
because it's however
Right.
many years a vehicle is old. I don't know if it's 20 years.
I got my inspection sticker
15
done.
years old, but I know that.
I think
So-
every other year they do. They go back and forth though,
Mhm.
but I can't. Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
I didn't have my car with an emissions test. I just had my car inspected, and I got a sticker. So I'm not sure. I mean,
And that's where I'm saying.
Yeah.
So to me, it's almost like, okay, after they're trying to do it to the newer vehicles, right? But the newer vehicles should have already come off the lines with all these wonderful emissions things.
Well, maybe that's the reason why they get tested is because they have to make sure that the car is set to that standard. Whereas older cars, before they started doing this emissions, they're not expected
Well,
to
then
meet
maybe
that
the car
standard.
company should be the one that does that and not the federal government, because we're the ones paying for it. So we go buy a vehicle that's supposed to have all these great things, and yet we're paying the government yearly or every year, depending on every 2 years, whatever, depending on where you live,
Mhm.
just to make sure the car is okay.
Yeah.
But you bought the car.
There's probably no entity in Massachusetts that emphasizes or illustrates what I've been trying to bring up as far as letting the government impose themselves on you more so than the Department of Motor Vehicles. Probably more than any other entity that I can think of, especially in the state of Massachusetts, have we just simply laid down as people and allowed them to just walk all over us from top to bottom.
I know someone who drove to Florida, and when they came home a few weeks after coming home, they got a ticket in the mail. And actually it wasn't a ticket. It was toll by mail.
Mhm.
So they didn't even see a toll. There wasn't a sign. They missed a sign, and here they got in the mail this random. So how do they even know?
Was it from
It
Massachusetts?
wasn't in Massachusetts. But that goes to even state. No, I think it might have been Pennsylvania. I'm not sure which state it was, but it was obviously from here to Florida, one of them.
Mm.
But they got a ticket, and not a ticket, the toll by mail.
They got a bill for a toll that they didn't pay. Simply.
Yeah, but there was no toll. That's the whole the mission of it is toll by mail. You don't have to stop. They're just gonna send it to you in the mail, like what Rhode Island was gonna do in Tiverton. That's what they did.
But I thought the whole point in Tiverton was they were going to have the transponders so you could pay through it from somewhere, just like Fastlane. You could do it that way too. But if
I know, but if you're traveling and you don't know it's there, you get it in the mail.
fair enough.
You end up in a situation when you leave yourself open for this to just you give them an inch and they literally just take way more than a mile, right? No, I'm being serious about this. Now you give them just a little bit of ground and they take out the entire space.
Mm-hmm.
And to me that's just like that makes us then as citizens have to be more vigilant in posting online. Hey, wow, I'm seeing a city car in Tiverton somewhere. Oh wow, I'm seeing, why is this car parked in the parking lot for lunch for 2 hours when they should be working? What's my tax money doing for me? That's the reason why. It's not because, well, maybe in some cases it's the person is trying to be a jerk or trying to be funny, but in a lot of cases it's just built up frustration because they keep on getting somebody. The government hand is always in their pocket. What am I paying for? I go outside. There's trash all over the place. The parks are all a mess. Weeds all over the place. Mattresses in the woods. All this kind of crazy stuff, and more things in the woods, right?
Oh, this trash! I've been seeing trash everywhere in
Right.
the city.
And they're like, well, what the hell is my tax money paying for continually if all they're doing is, if their job and their function is just to take money and not to do anything more, right? And that's really what the primary function of government has looked like. You know how I say actions speak louder than words?
Mm-hmm.
That's the situation right now. If we were just literally objectively looking at this and seeing what is the function of our government, almost every aspect, it's like they're taking money from you.
They do. And if you don't have the money, that's when you get penalized.
That's when they're all active.
Even you could do the worst of the worst. As long as you have the money to pay it, you're good. But if you could do the littlest thing because you don't have the money to pay the fine, you're looked upon as an awful person, or you don't get your life. You know what I mean? Like there are just things that people's lives get taken away. Their freedoms get taken away simply for not having the money to pay a fine. For something that shouldn't be illegal in the first place.
You've seen people trying to shame you for not buying the bags. You've seen people shaming you for,
how dare you?
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm saving the city money.
I love the argument from the people that come from the other cities and towns. Well, we've been doing it for so long, and you guys aren't doing it. It's nothing new, and you guys, I can't believe you guys aren't doing it. Those are the ones that get me the most.
Well, I've actually brought this up in conversation. Somebody didn't respond back. They said, we live in Somerset and we get bags and blah blah blah. And I said, hey, what's Somerset's disposing contract? Like what's their contract for recycling disposal and things like that? Didn't respond. Then I mentioned to them that Fall River particularly is very unique because we have a contract that actually spends more money in disposing recycling than sanitation. I'm pretty sure that's not the same in a lot of different areas.
A person in Somerset should pay attention to really pay attention to what's going on in their town, because they were actually paying for recycling at the schools and not doing it.
Right. So there was something tricky going on there.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, they're better now. It's getting because somebody was paying attention. Yeah. But you can't just because, and when people have said that, well, we buy our bags in Somerset, so why don't you? And I tell them, did you pay attention? Is it even legal for your town to be asking you to buy those bags? Like, do you even know? And then they're like, oh my God, I didn't even think to ask that question. You can't compare any town to any town.
Right.
Every town is different.
You also have, in Fall River, we're still, the big mystery is whether or not your tax money or your bag money or whatever money that they're taking from you is even paying for residential or commercial or public sanitation. So you have that going on.
That should be a Jeopardy question.
It's the $1 million question.
Nobody would answer it.
And on top of that,
nobody has. You've been asking. Damn it.
If Somerset or Taunton or anybody other, any of these other cities that are doing sanitation bags, is their money? Is the money for that going to where it needs to go to?
Are they making money on their recycling, or has the cost of their recycling increased too? They're just not into it. If they're only told it works, are they believing it works?
So instead of pointing the finger at Fall River and saying, well, we do what you should do, maybe we should be pointing at you and saying, hey, we're questioning our government. Why aren't you questioning your government?
Why are you cool paying for bags
when
you probably already paid for trash and your taxes?
I truthfully believe that Flanagan thought it would just go over like that. I don't think he cared.
You know what? I will always say that he is brilliant for the way that he conducted it. As far as the way he did pay as you throw, he was brilliant. Because the one thing he didn't do was issue fines. Because that's what started really the ball rolling. Like the purple bag was a big thing, but the people who weren't using them weren't going to use them no matter what. The people who were going to use them are going to use them no matter what. So he was getting that money anyway. The problem came when the city council started questioning, well, what's happening to the people who aren't using the bags? Why aren't they being fined? That was the problem. That's the issue. So,
and I would say that the city councilors that were coming up with that and saying that were probably getting complaints from citizens who were buying the bags.
Right.
So it was a legit concern for them. But what I feel like the city councilors could have done is say, hey, this program is not working. I would boycott this and let the mayor know that he needs to come up with a better plan. Well, it's just my refrigerator.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. There was a loud noise in the background. My refrigerator makes a noise every once in a while.
I'm like, whoa.
But real quick, getting back on the track real quick though. The city councilors, instead of supporting this and saying, oh, we need to get more money, this isn't fair, blah, blah, blah. They should have buckled down, dug their heels into the ground and said, hey, Mayor Flanagan, this program is not working. This program is a burden on people, just like Linda was saying in the first place. And instead she flip-flopped on it. and everybody else who was with her followed. Rigo, who else at the time? Ray Mitchell. They all, obviously Pat Casey and Leo Pelletier just did whatever the mayor wanted at that time. But it's for me, like to me, like they had a responsibility to recognize something here, and they still do have an opportunity to recognize it. Starting to see some people flip their positions and say, this is a program that's not working. Is there something that we can do to get out of it? Finally. But I think that, again, when
Is it because the election's
right,
going,
right, you have to. It's all about elections. So at this point, we're going to need to just really trust our instincts there and say. Well, I'm sorry.
No. The point you were making of bringing this up now, I just love how they're already getting into the position for next year, about a year early.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous because now they're gonna have this massive fight, and I'm gonna predict it. This is exactly what's gonna happen. It's gonna stick around, but then they're gonna say, well, I voted against it. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh no, we're gonna have another election is gonna be based on trash, guaranteed.
But I get.
Yes, man wins.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is that nothing is going to change, but the official stance is going to be, well, I tried my best and I wanted to fight for you, but it didn't happen.
I don't know. We'll see. Because if they really wanted to fight for us, maybe they should have been getting rid of that $10 fee that was there for so long instead of backing it up when Sutter was in office.
You mean the 1 year that it actually existed?
Yes. And you know what? By the way, folks, they robbed your money. For a whole year, the people who paid that bill, the city of Fall River seriously robbed you. They robbed you. No other way of looking at it. It was illegal for them to do this. Why they stopped so quickly. For 1 year, they robbed you. So every property owner should keep that in mind. When they were so desperate for money, they didn't want to stop their spending. What they did was they robbed property owners.
Well, actually, they just circumvented 2.5.
Yeah,
anyway.
they robbed their property owners.
That's all it was.
Because now all of a sudden, you don't have to pay that fee because you didn't have to pay that fee all along. That was them stealing from you. So everybody who was cool and backed that up, they shouldn't be elected either.
I agree.
And that was Ray. I'll say that there was Ray. That was Linda. There was one more who was backing that one up.
Rigo.
Who backed up he's gone anyway. But let's make sure he's gone for good. All these people who did back it, remember that they backed it. They were okay with stealing your money.
I'm almost sure.
For a year, it was like they were like, hey, we really got to borrow some money, but we can't afford to. Like their loan shark.
Was it a 5-4 vote that went?
I'm almost sure that Paul De Silva will be running again. I'm not a betting man.
Can I guess what his platform's going to be?
Yes.
Nothing.
Being present. I will be present for this.
I would love to know what the platform is.
I can't. You can't quote me on it. You can't. There's nothing set in stone. I'm just going.
I'm ready.
I'm just going. My spider sense is tingling, and I have a feeling we're going to see a few familiar faces pop up.
Yeah, but you can't quote Paul De Silva on anything because he says nothing. So therefore, you got a good point there.
This is going to be fun. It's going to really be fun.
Jason Springer.
Fun. But I'm glad about that. I really am.
So Jason Springer has put his name out there for city council.
I don't always agree with everything that he says, but I think it's great that he's running.
He's had a couple of fundraisers already.
No.
Dude,
No.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
And I'll just say they weren't like the regular $15, $20 ones. There's been some
Tell me, stop. Please. I don't think
$40 ones.
I'm not just talking to you.
I'm just telling you people.
Boo! No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh,
it was like a $40 event.
$40 event, which hey, well, you know what? Look, look.
I get it, but still,
look, I understand why he's doing it. I get it. Okay, he needs to raise funds, but if that's what he thinks he needs to do, then sure, let him take that road. But
you know what though? When I see that, right, as just a resident, and I keep labeling him just a resident of Fall River. I don't want to run for office and none of that crap. I see that, and the first thing that I thought of when you said fundraiser is I was like, he's already in a pocket.
Yep.
That's the first thing I thought about because it wouldn't, like, you're already doing it. Like, I just don't, I'm sorry. And I really liked him, man. That sucks.
She's already used past tense on it. I will say
there are certain things to me that I just won't.
That love-hate relationship just
Sorry.
lasted all of about 9 seconds.
Yeah. I'll say that I can't. It is what it is. He wants to raise money. That's his prerogative, and that's that. I would rather know somebody's platform before knowing how much a ticket to their fundraiser is.
I agree.
Like, if a politician is telling me they're running, I want to know what their platform is. I don't want to have to pay $40 to go to a dinner to find out what the platform is. And maybe the rest of the city is perfectly fine with that, and that's fine. Maybe the guys who are going to run that aren't doing these fundraisers, like myself, maybe we're the ones that don't, that may lose out on that, because maybe that's what voters want to see. They want to see fundraisers. They want to see the suits. They want to see the parades. They want to see that. That's fine. I do the military parade because they asked me to do the military parade. I like it. I have fun with it. But I'm not going to be going to Saint this ones and Saint that ones and every other parade just for my political gain. And I hope that a lot of these other guys, they stay true to themselves when they run, because that's what they're going to be giving the public, is their honest persona.
That made me sad. Sorry.
Oh, I know.
It's depressing.
No, I just think that when
it's like I have hope, and then
when you have people who want to legitimately make the city better, right, and want to put the person first by not asking for by not asking for 1 cent, I think that does a lot better for the people, because they can keep their money, they can do what they want to do with their money, and at the end of the day, it's not the money that matters, it's the vote that matters. If you've won somebody without taking money from them, and you can't buy them, you really have won something. You've really done something important here. But when you go out and you have to ask for money for them to listen to you, when you can't make yourself available publicly, you have an issue you have a fundamental issue that you're basically saying that your time is considered money. No, your time, if you're going to go out for a public office, your time is the public's time, which should be made available at any time they ask. Now, if you're campaigning, you should be able to go out and say, this is what my stance is, this is what my platform is, this is what I think about this. And you should be able to do it free of charge. Because I'm not going to go to your function if you're going to charge for me to go there. You gotta win me on the fact of not spending $1, because my vote is not worth $40. My vote is not worth $125.
My vote is priceless.
You beat me to my damn punchline, woman. Captain America or not, and Captain America socks or not. That just no, I'm kidding. Love you, Nikki.
You saw that, right?
Wow.
There was some anger.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
The guy carries around a machete with him, like everyone.
I do not carry around a machete.
What he's got going on right now? Cornelius from Rudolph.
Well, my beard.
Yeah,
and the kind of little bit of the buzz cut too. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Kind of Cornelius.
Hey.
You know the guy that.
Every episode, she's doing that sound.
It reminds me of
This is like the third week in a row she's made that sound somehow, some way.
She fits it into everything.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize it.
I mean,
I do
there are children listening to
It
this.
is. All right, well, they'll know what I'm talking about because they watch Rudolph. Cornelius, hits the snow looking for gold, silver and gold. No.
I know what you're talking about.
You know
man.
what you're talking about.
We got the whole
watched the
thing.
movie. I watched the movie at least 100 times.
I
when I was
thought
a
you guys
kid.
were just gonna say you just watched it the other day. The way it just sounds crazy.
So before we go, I'm gonna talk about a little sports real quick.
No.
So we're waiting for Clay Buchholz and Jacoby Ellsbury to return back to this. Al Horford to come back to the Celtics. He's been stretching out this injury. You like that one? Jacoby Ellsbury did the same thing when he was a Red Sox player. But no, Al Horford, Boston Celtics player that we paid like $29 million for this year. He's been out for like 9 straight games with a concussion. So they're being very, very careful with him coming back, which is perfectly fine. We played the Golden State Warriors last night. We lost by about 12, 16 points, something like that. And that's fine. We don't have 2 of our best defenders. They like completely loaded their team in Golden State. They got the best scorer in the league in Durant. They got the second best scorer in the league in Stephen Curry. They got one of the best shooters in the league in Klay Thompson, and they're just all over the place, ridiculous right now. So they won by about 16 points, and I'm watching some of this game, and the Boston Celtics fans, they booed like crazy. What's the matter? Am I doing something wrong here?
No.
That's interesting. I don't know. It's weird. They booed.
I just want to do something stupid and you looked at me.
They booed. They booed Kevin Durant. They booed him like he was like the Antichrist. They had one interview with Kevin Durant, and he chose to go to Golden State instead of Boston, and they flipped out on him when he showed up to the court. And that's just a passionate fan base, right? That's just a passionate fan base. It's not, I mean, that's crazy, but it's a passionate fan base. They're allowed, they pay ticket money, they pay for hats and jackets and everything else. They should be able to have the passion that they want to have. I guess my problem is, if they ever wanted this person to ever come and play, he's going to be a free agent in like 2 years. They ever wanted him to come back and play for the Celtics? Or to like consider.
They don't. Isn't that the whole idea of being a fan in New England? Is like if somebody screws over New England, or you kind of give us.
You can never come back.
It's bad juju. We send you on your way, and that's it.
I agree with your premise. However, I will say.
You're gonna write him a letter saying you
no.
Want to play for the Celtics?
If he's a free agent, all those people that were booing him are going to be on their knees begging that he plays for the Celtics.
Yeah, good for him. Then he'll get more money.
I'm just saying, it's just crazy to me that like how we are as fans, how we can get as fans for just a basketball team or a football team,
it's
right?
It's luck though, because let's say as he could be a free agent and hurt himself. He could be a free agent and all of a sudden there's some other guy who comes out of college and he's better than he is.
It's an interesting situation.
It can happen.
I'm just watching some of this stuff, and I'm like, if you really want Kevin Durant to play in Boston in a year or two,
you just really want Kevin Durant.
I've always wanted him to play in Boston. Yeah, ever since the draft when we ended up with the number 6 pick, I think we were trying to get the number 1 pick. Derek's just adjusting and recording it. Yeah, you have a pin, and I'm thinking I think I know what this is about.
You do, if you read anything, I'm sure you do.
Is this about like the campaign not against Donald Trump, but the Trump campaign?
All it is like, let's say I'm outside somewhere, I'm in the market, somebody is feeling uncomfortable and being treated in an improper way for whatever reason, whether it be because they're a woman, because their sexual orientation, because the color of their skin, because their religion, because of the language they speak. This is supposed to, this safety pin, it's a safety pin, just supposed to signify that I'm a safe person that person can come to. If they're in an uncomfortable situation, if I'm on a bus, and somebody is in an uncomfortable situation, they know by seeing it, they could come talk to me and there's not going to be any judgment that I would side with them before I sided with any bully, before I sided with somebody who's ignorant.
Yeah.
So I've been wearing it for actually since the election. I just feel in my own thing, the things that I've heard and the things that I've seen, I feel better.
We actually last week, and I know we're like at the closing minutes of our show. Last week, Nikki and I had we were having a disagreement. And by the way, you were right about the total vote.
Oh, look on her face. She's like, you were right.
The whole time he's saying, no, Trump's got it. I'm looking at him like, dude, please.
No, because I did see articles that said that he did, but then I ended up seeing a Huffington Post article or so that said that when it's all tallied up, because a lot of this stuff was coming out.
I mean, granted, it's still being counted. So
a lot of this stuff was being,
as of right now, it's still Hillary.
But there was some back and forth when it wasn't all tallied up yet. There was. Okay,
I didn't see that. Anytime I watched it, everything said that Hillary had more popular.
There was one that showed a map, and I actually ended up challenging it. It was my, Josh. Josh had a map showing a map, and he said, "Oh, Trump got the total vote." And so when I clicked on the article, and it was a New York Times article, it still had Hillary in the lead by about 500,000 to 600,000 votes. Whenever there's a characteristic from the Republican and from the Democratic side. Whenever a Democrat is in the lead in the polls this year, I've noticed, right? it's been the right wing people will say that there's massive,
It's fake.
there's massive amounts of voter fraud,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So they'll take this position of, oh, Hillary's in the lead right now because of voter fraud. Like
Which
it's
we
like
all
an
know
automatic.
that's such baloney.
Well, voter fraud exists, but
not
voter
at the
fraud
kind of
isn't
level that anybody even imagines.
right. But voter fraud isn't exclusive to one party over the other.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I looked up. I just out of curiosity, I looked up voter fraud cases this year, and there were a lot of them for both sides. And I saw more for Donald Trump than I did for not just Donald Trump, but for conservatives, because a lot of voter fraud is happening in the local levels, a lot more than it is on the national level, because they have federal agencies for the national level really making sure it's right. You know what I mean? So for the local, sometimes they don't have anybody look like really deciphering and seeing if anyone's being honest besides the local authorities. Right? You know what I mean? So at any rate, I'm listening to these people, and as soon as it was confirmed on the article that Hillary was actually in the lead in the total vote, the popular vote, all this conversation about voter fraud started up again on that, and I'm like, wait a minute. So no matter what, if those numbers show Donald Trump winning, then there's no voter fraud. But now the new thing is Donald Trump is winning despite the voter fraud. So no matter what, so this talking about opinions and evidence and things like that, no matter what, the Republican side is consistently just going to say voter fraud, voter fraud, voter fraud. They're never going to say anything else. They're never going to admit that maybe possibly their position is off. It's always going to be that.
Well, it's going to be kind of impossible for them to talk about voter fraud. If she does, it's anticipated that she will end up with 2 million more actual votes than Trump.
You're blind, Nikki.
Which also means that she will have had more votes than many Democrats who won elections.
This will be the largest. If it goes up to 2 million, it's going to be the largest amount of popular votes, period, by any candidate, and she still lost because the Electoral College.
Which, by the way, now Donald Trump is saying is like cool. He likes the Electoral College. Back in 2012, he was against it, but he's cool with it now.
That's fine. And be it for me, I'm not a big Democrat supporter for anything. I mean, not on a lot of levels. I'm not supportive of any liberal causes, but you got to just at the end of the day, like just call it what it is. There's 2 million votes above on the popular vote is not a result of straight voter fraud. Like, let's just be real, please. I mean, Trump won. They should respect it. There shouldn't be people in the streets burning cars and hitting people and this, that, and the other, in my opinion. But
because I'm going to do it again, because the only place that I've read about any bad stuff happening was Portland, Oregon. And yes, it was awful. Somebody got shot. But you're saying all across the country, and that's not fair to say that.
It has been all.
You don't think people should be protesting or.
Wait a minute. I did not say that they shouldn't be protesting.
Rewind the tape. You just said it again.
I said it. No, I said that people shouldn't be breaking things.
Protesting.
No, burning things in the streets. Nikki, I swear to you, I swear to you, I've said many times, if you want to protest that you like hot dogs more than hamburgers, by all means do it. But if you're hurting somebody or hurting property or destroying property, do not do it.
Okay, well, I could have sworn.
And they're hypocrites for doing it. I don't care if it was in one little town in Portland, Oregon, or if it was all over the world or all over the country.
So condemn the one person, don't condemn the protest.
There wasn't one person, Nikki. There was way more than one person doing this. It's literally happened everywhere.
Is this the same thing as Trump was ahead on popular votes?
No.
Because if you can send me an article. Please send me the information, because I've been since last week. I've actually been looking, and the only thing we can find is in Portland, Oregon. Yes, awful things happened. They were lighting things on fire. Somebody did get shot. There was a loss of life.
Here's my issue.
It was Portland, Oregon.
Here's my issue. Why, if it happened, what's the argument?
Because I heard you say they shouldn't be protesting in the street. That's what got me, is when you said they shouldn't be protesting out in the street.
No, No, they shouldn't be burning cars in the street. They shouldn't be burning cars in the street. They shouldn't be stopping traffic. And that has not just happened in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, well, that's all only.
Right?
New York, Los Angeles,
Thank you.
Chicago, Seattle, Philadelphia, Richmond, Atlanta,
Yes, where
Dallas,
protests
Omaha,
are happening.
Dallas, Omaha, Kansas City. It's actually in an article.
Where protests are happening. I get that. There are protests happening all across the country.
Okay.
There is violence at these protests.
Let's see.
This is the problem that I'm
Yeah.
having. I don't want to spread false information, guys.
No, but
Like,
the
I'm
question.
not
but
down for that.
I understand though, but any protest. Can
It's
turn-
not false. It's already happened. There's
But-
evidence that it's happened.
But any
Okay,
protest.
and all I'm saying is, if you have that evidence, please send it to me. because
You've
I've been
already
looking
seen the
since last
evidence.
week.
You've already said that
Just from
there's
Portland,
evidence.
Oregon.
It doesn't matter if,
You're saying
again,
it's all across the country.
but it
dude.
has been happening.
Protests have been happening. If you're going to tell me that violence has happened because of these protests all across the country, I'm asking you, please give me some articles. Because since last Saturday, when you said the same thing, and I said the same exact thing last Saturday, I have been online. Yes, I did find the articles for Portland, Oregon.
Mhm.
That's it. Everywhere else has been peaceful protests.
Peaceful.
Yes, Trott, I'm telling you.
Not stopping. There was traffic stopped in Boston. There
Okay,
was.
but is that not peaceful?
That's not peaceful.
So if it's just traffic stopping, nobody's getting hurt.
What if somebody's in the ambulance? What if? I mean, I don't understand why that's not
Because
an issue.
you're saying it like it's factual. So I don't want to I'm not down to tell people I don't think people should be protesting or that there's violence going on when there isn't. If in this one place, so we can say, yes, in Portland, yes, somebody got shot. Yes, there was bad because people were protesting this. And if we're going to say that, then we need to say there have been peaceful protests in colleges across the country where people are being hurt by Trump supporters,
Mhm.
violently hurt. But nobody is talking about that. We're talking
were
about
hurt.
the protests against Trump being president. So that's what's fueling me right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody protesting. Violent protests, absolutely. There is something against a violent protest.
I'm also saying that they shouldn't be shutting traffic down either. I've said this, right?
Trott, what got me was when you said, I'm going to listen to the show just
Okay.
with that one part where you said they shouldn't be protesting in the streets. That's what upset me.
How about burning flags in
Well, I don't
public
care if
property?
somebody burns a flag.
All right, so burning flags in public property is not violent.
Public property is.
All right.
Burning property it would be
All
to
right.
me something violent.
San Francisco happened.
Okay.
Okay,
I didn't say it didn't happen. I'm asking
All right.
you to share the information. with
I'm
me.
just saying
And
that
you
it's
can
out
re-listen
there.
to the show again.
It's
and I
out
have-
there.
But when I asked for it, there's stuff you weren't giving it to me.
All right,
He went on his computer and didn't even find it. He read
Did you
out
not find
all those names. So when I said, okay, yes, there's been protests there, but are they violent?
Mhm.
That's the question I'm asking. Are they violent?
But I guess my problem is if they're burning something on public property, are you not defining that as violent?
Not a flag. I mean, if you're going to go and take my property and burn it,
Right.
then yes, that's a crime. That's to me because you're burning my property. But if you're taking something of yours and you're burning it in protest, shit, years ago they burnt bras. Were they criminals because they burnt their own damn bras? No.
If people are being violent in Oregon, and if they're stopping traffic, and if they're burning flags on public property or any of that stuff like that at all, they're wrong and they're
Right.
hypocrites.
I won't call them hypocrites. I'll say they're wrong, but I still.
Well, what are
believe
they?
in
What are they?
protesting.
What are they
Protesting
protesting?
is okay.
What are they protesting against?
Whatever they feel like it,
No, what they're protesting against is Trump being the president
and that's their business.
because they care about what? The betterment of the country,
I haven't talked to them. You'd have to ask them.
racism, bigotry, right?
Different
Well, all
reasons.
right, now they are.
Marriage equality.
they are
I mean,
protesting,
seriously,
right.
the man sat there himself, and the things that came out of his mouth were
Agreed.
some were disgusting.
Agreed. So
So
if
that's what they're protesting.
so if they're protesting that, but they're also doing violent things,
When did you're talking as if I'm saying doing violent things is great.
I don't know.
I did not.
What I'm
I
saying
said
is if
the
they are,
violence is wrong.
if they're doing this violent things while
Hold
protesting,
on.
then they're being
Hold on.
hypocritical as to what they're protesting against. Yes.
I'm not
See,
arguing
the
that
problem
point,
is that I do have an article here which talks about violence happening in colleges for this, but it all depends. I guess it all depends on what level of violence that we're dealing with here,
Okay.
because
You're making faces like
No,
this
no,
stuff is
no,
happening
no.
everywhere.
No,
and
no.
you still haven't.
hold on.
It's little articles.
Hold
here
on.
and there.
All right. So Wait. I am producing something, right?
But hold on a
But
second.
I'm not denying that
All
you're
right.
producing, but
So
you're
I-
acting like it's all everywhere.
I just got
that
done
there's a
saying.
protest.
I just got done
I'm sitting
saying.
here watching your facial reaction.
I'm
as
just
you're
got
reading
done
stuff.
saying that there was violence. If you just say, "Oh, it was only important," it's still violence, Nikki.
But I didn't deny that it
All
was
right,
still
hold on,
violent.
hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. Let me just get through this real quick because I do want to. This is an article from the 15th. It does say that, and I'm just gonna go through it real quick. 21-year-old Missourian was arrested on Thursday after allegedly accelerating his truck into a group of protesting
Disgusting.
President-elect Donald Trump on the campuses of the University of Central Missouri. One of at least 2 reported incidents of violence at the anti-Donald Trump rallies.
Mhm.
According to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Nathan Levy was arrested in connection with the incident, which, quote-unquote, happened while dozens of mostly black student protesters were peacefully demonstrating against Trump. So that part of the protest was peaceful.
Mhm.
Now you have another part of it where someone drove a truck into those people, causing the violence. So I see both sides of it. There was a peaceful.
So can I. Thank you.
There was a peaceful part of it, but hold on. But then there was a violence part of it where someone drove a truck into a bunch of protesters.
It was a violent act.
That's a
Jesus
part of
I
it.
Christ.
never said that there wasn't. But when you're acting like that's the only thing that's taken place, I'm sorry. I'm always going to get upset when I hear somebody say they shouldn't be protesting. And that's what I heard. That was where my reaction came from.
I
They shouldn't
said
be protesting.
they shouldn't be burning cars and destroying property, Nikki. I didn't say they shouldn't be protesting,
They
period.
shouldn't be burning flags.
Nothing. They shouldn't, not on
What
public
was that,
property.
No, I didn't say.
No, I'm saying it. They shouldn't be doing it on public property. They
Burning
can
a
hurt
flag on
somebody.
public property.
It's a,
Okay. If that's your, that's fine. If that's your opinion.
it's really like the law too. Like they shouldn't be burning things on public property. It's against the law.
I'm not denying that it's against the law.
All right, man. I don't get it.
I'm one person. There's certain laws that I don't think should be in place in the first place. So
I would
that's
not
just where-
burning a flag on public property. There's nothing to justify that. If something gets caught, if a person gets caught on fire, if anything like that, come on, you like that would be supported in any way, shape, or form.
If somebody got hurt, no.
All right,
But I'm not saying people shouldn't protest.
Mr. President.
Yeah, I'm not saying no one should.
That's okay.
I'm
That was
perfect.
what that was.
I never
and I'll
ever once said
apologize.
that,
I will apologize if
Actually-
you said it because I had
actually-
the same reaction last weekend when we had the exact
Hold
same
on,
conversation.
hold on.
I would never take
To
away
be
someone's right to
fair,
protest.
to be fair, your response to all of this was you asked if there was any other place that had a violent protest.
Right, because
Which-
the way our discussion is being had makes it seem as if all the protests across the country
Correct.
are violent.
Now that's fine, and I agree with that. We said Oregon was one of those that was pretty bad.
Right.
I just found 2 others that were bad.
Okay, I'm not
So,
arguing.
And
against
I'm
that.
not, but I'm also saying in the same breath that not all of them are violent.
I don't think all the people in Oregon were violent either.
Right.
But when you put everything together, that's what they're going to
So
say.
here is maybe this is why it's got me. So when I hear things like, oh, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, all I'm thinking is that's going to stop our freedom of speech. So we got this one idiot who's acting like a crazy person, and that's what's got our attention. Not once, not one story did we talk about any peaceful protest that has happened in this country.
Yeah, my point in the first place was that if you're protesting and you're burning cars and you're destroying property and you're hurting people, then you're a hypocrite. You shouldn't be doing that. That's all I said, and that's still the truth. But
I know,
but
but I
peaceful,
guess it's because why is the attention just on that?
because I would care
It
if
was-
somebody's getting hurt.
It's the smallest. It's if that was what was so widespread, then maybe I could see us talking about it. But because I don't, from what I've been looking at since last week, because I had the same damn argument with you last week. It's because it's a smaller level. So I think we're giving that attention instead of giving attention to the great peaceful protests that are happening everywhere. There's more protests.
So Nikki, if you wanted to
peaceful
talk, Nick, if you wanted to
protests.
talk about the positive part of protesting, that's perfectly fine. But it doesn't throw
I
away.
didn't bring up the protest.
I know I
I
did.
just went rogue when you said
I know I did,
what
but I brought up-
you said or what I
but I
thought
brought
you
up the
said.
people that are being destructive, right? But that doesn't mean that it was wrong or it
But
happened.
I never said it was okay either, Trott.
All right.
You're defending that it was violent, and I never said it wasn't violent. Yes, there was some violence. I get that. Derrick has his hand up.
I've had my hand up for a while, but that's okay. The great thing is I'm sitting back here and I'm seeing you guys go at it, and I get both of your sides. So, but let's just call it what it is. Who is reporting the violence? The media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have a very peaceful protest, and the media really doesn't really give a rat's ass about it.
Right.
That's the truth. But the minute that someone gets hurt, the minute that there is some kind of premeditated thought to hurt someone, the media will be all over it, and those are the ones that you hear about.
And that's what we're listening to.
Well, I got to tell you, there was a nice peaceful protest going on against Wall Street for a long time about the 2%, the 1%. They were right across the street from Wall Street. Those were getting reported every single day. So I mean, and there was no violence from that group of people. As a matter of fact, I think one guy got sprayed by a cop just for sitting there.
That's what they.
And the cops. And the cops started hitting some of the people, and there was no evidence at all that the people protesting Wall Street were being violent at all. So that was reported. But this, usually 9 times out of 10, if somebody's burning something or breaking something during a protest, that's going to get on TV first.
Right.
And my response to that is just basically this: if you're burning shit, if you're breaking shit, if you're hurting people, stop. And I said, and I know I said it last week too, you can protest that you like burgers more than hot dogs. Doesn't bother me at all. But don't hurt people. Don't burn stuff. Don't break stuff. That's it. That's all I've been saying. You always have a right to protest. We spent a year and a half protesting stuff. We didn't have to break anything, not to hurt anybody. Yeah.
Well, some people did.
Actually, they did more hurting than
But that's where I just don't want to. I would like to see everybody like that. There's so many peaceful protests, and this is all I keep hearing is Oregon. So
during the recall,
this is really all we're talking about.
But no, it was other spots. But if they're during the recall, right? They tried. Flanagan's people a lot were on Facebook and everywhere else trying to paint us.
Stealth mode. Yeah.
Right. They were like, oh, these people collecting signatures, they are harassing me and blah, blah, blah.
Maybe that's why I take it to heart.
Yeah.
I told you a lot of what my conditioning has changed in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's it. Maybe it's because I was called a thug for so long, or, I all the insulting things they said about everybody when that couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
So I just think we travel down a slippery slope when we talk about protesting, and this right now is so huge and it needs to happen.
I think people have a right to protest. I mean, I don't even think I need to say that. I think it's clear that people should have a right to protest. Just the last time I'll talk about it. If you're hurting somebody in the process, if you're destroying someone in the process, that's just completely counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish. That's all. That's all I can say about it. As far as like what they're actually protesting against, I'm not sure. I mean, I think that they would be the things that Donald Trump talked about, and actually what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He
okay.
hired.
So this is what I'm saying.
He hired. Oh, you gotta go.
I do.
All right. Oh wait, you need to see. All right.
Yeah, I want to. We got carried away, like me and Trott, who always get along, like totally just went and
I wish that Monica Miss Anonymous
rehashed last weekend.
I hope Monica Miss Anonymous hears that last 15 minutes or so, hears us arguing. So that way,
Can we get some the Thanksgiving dinner thing set first before we go over anything crazier?
just
All right. Thursday,
Anonymous.
Angel Anonymous on Thanksgiving. We'll be hosting a Thanksgiving lunch for those who are a little less fortunate. If you need to come on down, you'll be treated to a great dinner, great lunch. No questions asked. Come on down, enjoy yourselves. Get your fill. We always have more than enough food to with everyone else.
Was this a song? I don't even know if this is a song. We're gonna find out if it's a song. So I got Yukon Cornelius here for you.
Yukon, that was it.
Yeah, I got
I was
Yukon
just
Cornelius.
calling you Cornelius.
If this
Yukon.
isn't a song, then I'm just gonna stop it. This a song?
You know what's sad? Is that we've probably watched this movie every
Oh, my beard's way better than
single
that. Come on, dude. That's not even the same. That's not even the same. Dude, he has like a mustache that goes like 3 feet
right, it's just the way. If I buy you a hat like that,
greatest
with some earmuffs,
prospector in the North. This is my land. And you know, it's rich in gold.
Your beard is way better than that. It's pointed. It's not like it's like.
Silver and
listen,
gold.
why?
All right, this song is not happening. Everyone's talking. Everyone, thank you for listening.
Have a great Thanksgiving,
Great
everyone.
Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.